All right, so you're thinking about starting a business. Congratulations. You're in for a wild ride.
It is quite the adventure.
It is. And one of the first things on your to-do list should be figuring out your business structure.
Definitely. Getting that foundation right from the get-go is so important.
Totally. And one of the most popular options, especially here in North Carolina,
Oh yeah, favorite for sure.
is forming an LLC.
Limited liability company. It's a bit of a mouthful, but packs a powerful punch for business owners.
It really does. And we're diving deep into LLCs in North Carolina today in this deep dive.
Love a good deep dive. We'll uncover the ins and outs.
We will. And why this state is particularly advantageous for LLCs.
Buckle up. There's a lot to uncover.
There is. But first things first.
Back to basics.
For anyone who needs a little refresher,
Always good to have those reminders.
what exactly is an LLC?
So an LLC, or a limited liability company, basically provides protective shield between your personal assets and your business dealings.
So that means things like your house.
Exactly. Your car, your personal savings, all that jazz stays separate from your business ventures.
So if, let's say,
Knock on wood, of course.
if things go south with the business.
Which happens. It's all part of the entrepreneurial journey sometimes.
Right. Your personal stuff is safe.
Exactly. Your personal assets are protected from business debts and lawsuits. That peace of mind is priceless.
Peace of mind, yes. Priceless.
Yeah.
But isn't that what insurance is for?
Insurance is definitely important, but it's not a foolproof shield in every situation. Plus, certain types of insurance may even require you to have an LLC in place.
Ah, I see. So it's like an extra layer of protection.
Think of it as a safety net for your personal life while you're busy building your business empire.
Empire building. I like the sound of that.
Gotta dream big.
Absolutely. So we've got that personal liability protection.
Check. One major perk of an LLC.
But there's more, right?
Oh, there's more. An LLC also brings some sweet tax advantages.
Yes. The sweet, sweet sound of tax savings.
Music to every entrepreneur's ears. With an LLC, you get to choose how you want to be taxed.
Choices are good.
The best. You can opt to be taxed as a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or even a corporation.
Okay, so that means you can find what works best for your specific situation.
It's all about customization. Finding the most tax-efficient structure for your unique business model. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for your taxes.
Tax adventures, who knew?
They can be quite exciting when you're saving money.
They can be. So we've got liability protection, tax advantages.
Don't forget credibility.
Oh, right, credibility. Explain that one.
When you form an LLC, you're signaling to the world that you're serious about your business. It's like leveling up from hobby to legit operation.
Makes sense. Clients, vendors, investors, they all take you more seriously when you're an official LLC.
Absolutely. It builds trust, professionalism, and that all-important brand reputation.
Brand reputation is key these days.
It's everything. And an LLC can give you a nice little boost in that department.
So all in all, it sounds like LLCs are a pretty fantastic option for business owners.
They really are a solid choice, especially for those just starting out.
And speaking of starting out, we're focusing specifically on North Carolina today. What makes this state unique when it comes to LLCs?
Oh, North Carolina has rolled out the red carpet for LLCs, making it extra appealing for entrepreneurs.
In what ways?
Well, for starters, the process of forming an LLC in North Carolina is surprisingly straightforward. The paperwork is minimal, the filing fees are reasonable, and the state government is actually quite responsive. It's a breath of fresh air compared to some of the bureaucratic nightmares you hear about in other states.
That does sound refreshing. Less paperwork, more businessing.
That's the spirit.
And didn't you mention something about North Carolina being particularly tax-friendly for LLCs?
You have a sharp memory.
Yeah.
Yes, North Carolina boasts one of the lowest corporate income tax rates in the entire country. And hold on to your hats because there's no franchise tax either. That's a huge win for LLC owners.
No franchise tax, a huge win.
Less taxes means more money to reinvest in your business, which means more growth and success.
It's a beautiful cycle.
A virtuous cycle indeed.
Now, before we get too carried away, singing the praises of North Carolina LLCs,
There's always a catch, right?
there's usually a but somewhere.
There's a little quirk to be aware of in North Carolina.
Oh, do tell.
It's called the publication requirement.
Hmm.
Basically, after you form your LLC, you need to announce it to the world, or at least to the local community, by publishing a notice in a designated newspaper.
Wait, a newspaper? Like an old school printed newspaper?
Yep, it's a bit of a throwback, but it's still a requirement in North Carolina. The idea is to make the formation of new businesses public knowledge for transparency's sake.
Transparency is important, but a newspaper ad in the digital age seems a bit archaic, no?
A little bit. But hey, it's a small price to pay for all the benefits of having an LLC in North Carolina.
Fair enough. And how much does this newspaper announcement typically cost?
It varies depending on the newspaper and the length of the notice, but you're usually looking at somewhere between $50 to $150. Not a huge expense in the grand scheme of things, but still something to factor into your budget.
Good point. Something to keep in mind for sure. Now, I've heard whispers
Ooh, whispers. I love a good whisper.
that there's a way to form an LLC in North Carolina completely free.
You heard right. There are indeed online services that offer free LLC formations specifically for North Carolina businesses.
How does that work? What's the catch?
No catch. Well, not really. These services basically handle all the paperwork and filing on your behalf. You provide your business information, they ensure everything is in order, and then they submit it all to the state. Easy peasy.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
I know, right? But it's the real deal. It's a fantastic option for entrepreneurs who are bootstrapping, just starting out, and want to keep their initial costs as low as possible.
So do these free services cut any corners? I mean, you often get what you pay for, right?
It's a valid concern. But the reputable free services are just as thorough as their paid counterparts. They just chose to offer their basic LLC formation services for free as a way to attract customers and potentially upsell them on additional services down the road, like registered agent services or annual report filing.
Ah, that makes sense. So it's like a loss leader for them.
Exactly. And it's a win for you, the entrepreneur, especially if you're just starting out and don't need all the bells and whistles quite yet.
So if someone's listening to this and thinking, okay, an LLC sounds great, North Carolina seems like the place to be.
Smart thinking.
How do they actually decide if an LLC is the right choice for their specific business?
It's a great question. And here's the deal. An LLC isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It depends on your individual circumstances.
What kind of circumstances?
Well, think about your growth plans. Are you planning to build a large-scale operation, or are you aiming for something smaller and more manageable? If you're dreaming big, an LLC can provide the scalability and structure you need.
Okay, growth plans, check. What else?
Risk tolerance. How comfortable are you with the idea of your personal assets being intertwined with your business? If the thought of losing your house or savings keeps you up at night, an LLC is a no-brainer.
I can definitely see that. Peace of mind is priceless, as we said earlier.
It really is. And finally, consider the nature of your business. Are you in an industry that's inherently risky, or are you offering a service that's relatively low risk? If you're dealing with high-risk ventures, an LLC can offer that extra layer of protection you need.
High-risk ventures, high reward potential, but high risk of losing it all. So an LLC makes sense in those cases.
It's all about mitigating risk and maximizing potential.
So for our listeners who are ready to take the plunge and launch their North Carolina business, what's the main takeaway here?
I'd say the key message is this. Forming an LLC in North Carolina doesn't have to be a headache-inducing, expensive ordeal. It can be surprisingly simple and affordable, especially if you leverage the resources available to you.
Resources like those free LLC formation services we talked about.
Exactly. These services can streamline the process, handle the paperwork, and get you up and running in no time. It's all about setting yourself up for success from day one.
And minimizing those startup costs.
Absolutely. Every dollar saved at the beginning is a dollar you can reinvest in your business later on.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So head over to www.incauthority.com, explore your options, and launch your North Carolina business with confidence.
Go get 'em! The world needs your entrepreneurial spirit.
It does. And before we sign off, here's a little food for thought for our listeners. We talked about free LLC formation. But what other cost-effective resources could you tap into to give your North Carolina business an extra boost?
That's a great question. Lots to ponder there.
It is. Until next time, best of luck on your entrepreneurial journey.
We'll be cheering you on every step of the way.
And remember, you've got this.
You absolutely do.